there's one thing I got to learn: how to respect the spirit when it comes to warnings, like cautions to take. Because let's do a little story time. In 2019? Yes, 2019, January 2019. That was the last time I saw a lot of people. I had traveled to Algiers and I was coming back, and I left, I think, after lunch, a little bit after lunch, I think maybe 14. So from Algiers to Mostaganem is 4 hours drive, which makes it that I would get here at 18, and curfew in Mostaganem at that time was 18:30. So yeah, so I left around 14 and was okay with that. I left and I went to the gare. Excuse me. I went to the gare, and when I was at the gare, I waited and waited. Like, I think I was the first person, and I had to wait for a number of people, and maybe they got like 2 hours later, and I was like, oh. So we ended up leaving Algiers at 16, meaning I was going to get to Mostaganem at 20, and I'm a girl, Algerian, night, men, just the safety of a girl, even not just in Algeria anyway, generally. So yeah, I actually we left, okay, cool. And when we got to Mostaganem, I'm like, okay, I don't know how to explain this, but then I hope this is going to make sense, when you come in by taxi collective, my residence is somewhere before you get to the gare for taxi collective. It's like, it's the entrance of Mostaganem, my city, and then the gare, all that. Yeah, like just on road. Yeah. But then from the main road to my city, it's like a drive, maybe a 2 minutes drive, honestly. So yeah, it's already late. It's 20. It's cloudy, it's gloomy, and it's raining. So I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Let me just go drop off at the car. No, I didn't say I'm going to drop off. I asked the driver if he could actually just, as he's bypassing, can he just take me up to my city? And then he was like, no, he will only drop me off at the rampa. And it's like, oh, if you're going to leave me at the traffic circle, I'm going to walk up there with this rain at night. You know what, chillas, let's go to the gare. I'll take a taxi from that side. So we went with the other passengers. Of course, I wasn't alone. So there was this particular guy that was in the taxi. He dressed cleanly, as in he dressed like a businessman. He dressed with respect. Honestly, I still classify Algerians according to how they dress. I don't trust those people that dress somehow, and I trust people that are in business looks, outfits, and stuff like that. I trust them. I feel like they're, if you know what I mean. So yeah, we left and we got to the gare. We passed my city, and then we got to the gare. And when we got to the gare, there was no taxis at all. And then that guy, the one that I'm talking about, the one who looked clean, who dressed clean, I was like, where are you headed? He was also waiting. In my head, I'm like, oh, this guy's actually waiting for a taxi too, So it's like, where you headed? I'm like, I'm going to the city. It's like, which city? I'm like, I'm going to Shemuma. Shemuma is the other city. It's just behind my city, but it's not, I don't know why, So I told him, like, no, I'm going to the city. And then he was like, oh, okay, great. I'm actually waiting for someone. I don't know. I don't remember quite well whether he said his son or his friend or what. But he said he's waiting for someone to come pick him up. I was like, oh, that's nice. And he's like, I'm actually heading in that direction. Do you want a lift? I'm like, okay. Well, if the taxi gets here before, I'm leaving. But if a taxi doesn't get here before, if your guy gets here before, I'll take your guy. And then it's like, okay, great. And then we waited. And then they arrived. His car arrived before a taxi, and it was not a regular car. In my head, I was expecting a family car or something like that. But then there was the merchandise car. Those vans that, in movies, they use to hijack people and stuff like that. Yeah, that kind of car. It arrived and I was like, Lord, I started praying right there in my heart. And I was like, God, should I get in or should I not get in? And he was like, child, don't get in. And I was like, but God, there's no taxi, there's no nothing. Either I'm going to wait here, get soaked, or I'm getting in this car and I'm going. you know, God was like, no, don't get in. I'm like, okay, I got in because, well, so I sat in the car, and then him and the driver, like the guy that I came with, the guy that invited, who said he would give me a ride, and the guy that came to pick him up, they went behind and they started talking and talking. I don't know what they were talking, but I couldn't hear. But I was like, God, at that time the engine was on, and I was like, God, if you don't want me to be in this car, if this car is dangerous, give me a sign, okay? Give me a sign. The engine turned off, and I was like, oh, is that your sign? Is that really your sign? So cool. They started rustling and hustling. I don't know what they were doing behind. Like, I can't see behind. So I'm just like, okay, God, I don't know what's happening, but I'm starting to feel insecure. I'm starting to feel unsafe and stuff like that. If it's you, it's like, if you really don't want me to be in this car, give me another sign. You know what? When that guy comes back here and tries to start the engine, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna start, you know. The guy came back. Did he start the engine? Did the engine start? Nope, it did not. And then I was like, God, is this your sign? Should I get off? But then at the same time, I'm trying to look outside, and then I'm not seeing any taxis and stuff. And I was just like, you know what? God, just protect me. I started praying for protection and stuff. And then we took off, and then I was still new in Masterganam at that time, by the way. I was still new, so I did not know all the roads. So they took a new road that I did not know, and I was like, oh, this is when they kidnapped me. That's when they kidnapped me. That's what I thought, you know. But then, by God's grace, they just didn't. They just brought me straight to my city. They had just used a new road. Yeah, and they put me to my gate, and when I got there, they waited to see that the gate was open because I was late. So normally when you're late, after curfew, like, the gate would be closed, so you have to wait to knock until the guards come open the gate, you know. So they waited to just see whether I get in and stuff like that, you know. So yeah. And today, the reason why I'm telling you the story times is because I'm just like, I have to listen to God, especially when He gives me precautions or when He gives me warnings, because I would never know. So today, what happened is, after dinner, I wanted to get a taxi. So I just stood in front of the restaurant and I waited for a taxi to pass by. So the first taxi that passed, I stopped it, and already there was the man, the driver, and another man, and I was insecure at spirit, like, why are there two people? In Mostaganem, we don't do two passengers in a taxi like other wilayas. If it's a private taxi, it's for you and it's for you alone. So it's just like, why? And then the guy waited and he insisted that I get in. I was like, no, cool. I got in because I don't listen. I don't listen to my spirit, me. So we get in, and he starts speaking a lot of Arabic. I can't hear what he's saying. He ended up saying, jus d'orange pour la voiture. I'm like, that doesn't make zero sense. Like, orange juice for the car, what's that? Only to find out that the guy was trying to explain to me that he's going off to the filling station, and yeah. So we went off to the filling station, and I was still insecure at heart. Like, I still felt that heaviness in my heart, but then I started praying and interceding, you know, protection all the time. Once I feel that all the time, the first thing to do is pray for protection. So then they finally took a U-turn, and they took the road that leads me to my city, because they were headed in the other direction. So they took a U-turn to come to my city, and it was pretty okay. They brought me home. I got home safely. They did not overcharge me. They did not do anything, surprisingly. Like, you know, when you start to have those scenarios in your head, like, if what, I'll just bang the door, just start rolling on the ground, you know, all that drama that you see in movies. You know, I had already imagined all that, the whole scenario, like, you know what, just in case. Yeah, but well, that's something I actually want to learn to do this year, is like to listen to that spirit. Like, when God says don't do this, I don't. So yeah, that's amongst the 2022 vision thingies. So yeah, I'm just going to, like, I've talked a lot. I've talked a lot. Probably should end the video here. but I'm not going to because I miss you guys. Yeah. Okay, I have school tomorrow, so I have to sleep. My bedtime is in like 30 minutes, so let me just go wash these off and go to bed. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and please don't forget to like, don't comment, to share, and sending virtual hugs from me to you.